happy privilege to turn the service over to Sister Rose. Please welcome her as she comes.
We're so glad to be here this morning with you. We thank God for every person that came this morning. May you have an open heart and mind to receive whatever the Lord wants to give to you. We all come to the house of God because we're looking for something, and He never disappoints us. We're so happy that you're here this morning. We hope that you will continue to reach out and get all that belongs to you. Everybody's got something in this message. Nobody comes to hear a message that it doesn't find every person in this building. So we're glad that you're here today. I pray that you will continue to walk with Him and give your life to Him. If you don't know Him, you need to get to know Him. This is the best thing ever happened to man. If you have your Bibles, turn with me to the 55th chapter of Isaiah. Father, we're grateful this morning for your blessings, for all that you've done. You've been so good to all of us. You've done more for us than we ever deserved. We thank you because you never fail, never fail. I thank you for your presence. I thank you because you're always here. Thank you for not letting us do it alone, but standing by our side, giving us the strength and the courage to do what you've called us to do. I pray, God, for every person in this building that you would touch their lives, that you'd open their eyes to what the truth is and give them a heart to receive it, and we'll be careful to give you praise and glory. Amen and amen. The 7th verse says, let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to fear and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereunto I sent it. I want to preach to you a little bit this morning. You know what? That tells us how far off we are from being like God. When he says, my thoughts are not your thoughts, and he says, for as the heavens are higher than the earth. That's a lot. So are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So that means, let me tell you something. Whatever you're thinking, for sure, God's not thinking. Whatever way you think something should be done, it's not going to be done that way. God has a way in which he does things, and he likes for us to conform to that. We got to submit ourselves to God if we expect to have what he got for us. He's got something for everybody. How many times a man been in a position and he's whining and crying about how things didn't work, and I tried this and I tried that? You know what? When you do it God's way, you don't have to run around trying stuff. You don't have to. You just do it his way. There is no plan B for God. It's what he says. It's what you want to do. So listen to this. So he says, I'm so different from you. Aren't you glad he's better than us? Ah. So as I looked at this, I wanted to say that God is trying his best to get man to do it the way he planned. Man always comes up with his own plan. Your plan stinks. God says, I don't even want to hear what you got to say because you're not going anywhere with this. So for the most part, he thinks he knows. But the scripture says it is not in the heart of man to know his way. God didn't even put it in us for that. So we don't know. We don't know what's better for us than one thing or another. But God knows all of that. He gives us ample chance. I want to say to you, every person that's sitting in this building, I guarantee you've done something the way you wanted to do it. And you can look back on it and say, I wish I hadn't done that. Look what happened as a result of it. Had you done it God's way, you wouldn't be a feeling of guilt or how did I fail here? You failed because you didn't seek how God wants you to do it. The way you want to do it doesn't work. How many of us went to school and the teacher gets up to the board and she's putting the examples up on the board and we say, I don't think you have to do it like that. I think I can get it another way. And then when you do it another way and you get to the desk and you get an F, you found out I shouldn't have done it my way. I should have followed what she said. We don't like to do that. All of us, I know myself. I was waiting. Let me hurry up and get. I want to be grown and get out of this house with these rules and regulations. I need to get loose, I said. I didn't even know what getting loose was. It was messing up your life. That's what getting loose was. But I need to get out of here. Oh, you can't do this and you can't do that, and you got to go to church every time, and they want you to go to the altar. I don't want to go to the altar. I don't want to get saved. But you know what I wanted to do? I found out what I wanted to do became very, very difficult. Very hard to get through a lot of things. But you know what? I thought of Elvis Presley when I thought about this message. This man lived this unbelievable life without God. Listen to this. Me and my son was talking about it this week. And 3.5 weeks before he died, he sang, "I Did It My Way." Well, when he got to hell, how horrible. You say, I did it my way. Somebody told you about God. You didn't want to do it. You didn't want to accept it. Somebody who the Lord showed a vision of hell said Elvis Presley was in hell and singing his song. But it's not the way you sung it here. It's torment there. I want you to listen to the words of this, because no doubt you will find yourself there. He said, "Now the end is near." It almost seemed like self-prophecy. 3.5 weeks before he died. "I faced the final curtain," he said. "My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway. And much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few. But then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exception. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway. Oh, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yeah, there were times, I'm sure you know, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all and I stood tall, and I did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried. I've had my fails, my share of losing. And now as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that. And may I say, not in a shy way. Oh, no, no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not. To say the words he truly feels and not the words he would reveal. The record shows I took the blows and I did it my way. Think about that. So much pain we cause ourselves. I remember seeing Elvis Presley on TV, and he had been on drugs so bad until he looked swollen. And he gained a lot of weight. And so when the devil finishes you, he just uses you up and leave you in the dump. He doesn't care. How many people started out with their life somewhere they felt like it was intact, only to find out at the end everything was a mess? The last thing you want in your life is to come to the end and realize you did it your way. Because if you didn't do it God's way, you can't get to heaven. We're only going to get there when we do what he wants us to do. So if I don't do it the way the word tells me to do it, as a Christian, how to live my life, at the end of the journey, you're going to wish you had done it different. You're going to wish you'd done it God's way. So he said, I know you're not going to like my way. Man doesn't like God's way. He wants to do it the way he wants to do it. And so if you tell him, well, this is what the Bible says, well, I'm not into that. Well, you know, if you try this, this will work. No, I don't believe it. So you look at people and they're doubting it, but after a while in your life, you start feeling some sense of loss and sadness, some sense of disappointment, some sense that I wish I had done it different. And you know what? You can't go back next year. You can't pick up the year after that. You cannot continue to go back and look at it and say, well, I'm going to change it. We can't change what we did yesterday. Only what we're doing today. So as I looked into the word, I was deeply concerned about how many people make bad mistakes doing things that they think is right. There is a way that seems right to you because man is so limited to what he can see. But there is a way that seems right to you. But God's looking at it saying that's not good. If you take that way, that won't work. It might look good because we're limited in what we can see, but I'm telling you, you shouldn't do that. How many times did our parents tell us, don't do that? You better be careful. You better watch that. How many people lost their lives because they did something their way? Got in the car with a bunch of people drinking and leaving the party scene and end up dead before they could get home. Can't straighten it, can't fix it. So when I look at the situation of mankind as a whole, he always goes back what seems good. This seems like it'll work. Then somebody who's tried it already said, that's not going to work. That won't work. Well, how do you know just because it didn't work for you don't mean it won't work for me? How many times have you heard that statement? Well, I'm not going to do it the way they did it. I believe that if I do it this and go a different direction, I'll be good. But you're not. So what seems good is simply gives the impression or to appear to be, seems like a good idea at the time. It seemed like a good idea for you to marry that man. You said, I'm in love. Who is he? Well, I don't really need to know a lot about him. You better know everything you can possibly know about a man or a woman. So we end up marrying a stranger. We don't know who he is. And then after a little while, the honeymoon is over, then all this ugly parts start coming out, and you say, I didn't know you were like that. I didn't know you felt that way. Because he's not going to let you see that during the time you're dating. He's trying to reel you in. So if I got to put my best foot forward, tell you all these lies about what I believe in and all this stuff, and at the end of the day, it doesn't work. People end up in divorces in this country all the time. Over 50% of all marriages in this country end in divorce. Why is that? Because we never ask God about it. We just pick up somebody. But see, God says he made me. He knows everything about me. Everything. He knows what will work for me and what won't. He knows whether John fits the mold or not. And you just say, well, it's what I see. Oh, not good, not good. I had to advise my daughter. We had a young man in the church some years ago, and bless his heart, I told my daughter, she said, Mama, I really like him. I'm thinking, you got to do more than like, and he doesn't have the goods. You say, well, how do you know? You don't even know him. That's what they always say. You don't know him, Mom. I talk to him. I know more than you think I know. Understand? I said, that's not going to work. It went on for a little while. I was sitting in the house one day, and I thought, God, I don't seem like the mother that doesn't want my daughter to be married, and that's not true. I'm trying to go along with it. So every time Nisi would leave, I'd go to one. I said, Juana, it's not going to work with him. And she'd come back to the room, and I'd be quiet for a minute. And finally, I thought, I just can't. I just said, I can't do it. I would like to be happy for you, but I can't. This is not going to work. This guy, he has no ambition, period. His greatest ambition was being a mechanic in some shade tree place. You said, what's wrong with that? Nothing. But it didn't work for her. It wasn't going to. So finally, I stood my grounds. I felt sorry for her. She cried. I felt sorry for her, but I thought, we'll cry together, but you can't do that. You walk down the aisle. How many people have I heard over the years said they walked down the aisle and they knew when they got to the altar it was the wrong one? And see, I just said, you know what, baby, I ain't going to do this. I'm not going to go through this. Just go ahead and say it. It's better to say it at the altar than in a divorce court. This is not working. So things appears to be like that's a really good thing, and we go by feelings. Feelings are deceptive. Feelings change like this. They are moody. You can't go by people's feeling. And you sure can't trust yours. So when something seems good, but it's actually bad. One time, I was eating an orange. Let me tell you, just give you a little example of what I'm talking about. That orange looked so good. And sometimes if I really, really like it, I just bite into the orange with the peeling and all. And so I bit into this orange, and I was just chewing and chewing, but I stopped. I was watching the news. I looked down at my hand, this black fuzz. Oh my God! I didn't even know oranges had black fuzz in them. And I'm sitting there and eating this. All of a sudden, I said, "Whoa!" I went to the sink. I was trying to get it out. Woo! I thought I got to get this stuff out. Oh, the thoughts of it. For a long time, I didn't eat an orange. And when I did from then on, I peel that booger, I cut it open, and I take a look at it. So what I found out, it looked good on the outside, but it had black inside called black rot, a type of mold. And the fungus penetrates that crack that develops after harvest or during growth. If the tree suffered through drought, frost, or disease, it'll cause the orange to do that. For a long time, I look at an orange and no, but it looked so perfect. And that's the way a lot of things look in life. They look so perfect. It couldn't be nothing wrong with this, but yes, it is. Yes, it is. Think about it. So they said the mold in oranges is commonly known as dog vomit slime mold. Now, how much worse can it get? And I'm telling you, that's kind of the way when you pick your life for you, and you pick your choices, and you say, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and you feel like, hey, this is working. There's nothing wrong with this orange. Look at this. I didn't even know a such thing. I ate oranges all my life. I never seen nothing like that before. But I tell you what, I never forgot it. See? Sometimes we try to rationalize our wants, and we mess up on that. Trying to justify the path of error you have chosen, but you find out in the end that you took the road to destruction. But I'm trying to do it right. I'm trying to rationalize this and say to myself, I don't think nothing's wrong with that, do you? And we always ask people that's messed up. You ask the people that's messed up like you. So what do you think? You never ask your peer anything. Because you know what? They crazy as you are. Whatever you do, don't do that. So we see him and say, well, I talked to Jenny. Who is Jenny? Is she married? Well, she's divorced now, but she was sharing. No. I don't need to talk to somebody that's already divorced. Let me talk to somebody whose marriage lasted. They got married and they stayed married. You don't have a lot of that going on today. People don't stay married. You know why? They married for the wrong reason. They married for looks. She's fine. But you don't understand, time alters fine. It's going to change that. So yeah, he looks like he's got all his pecs going on, his muscles is all up there and everything. And boy, he's muscular. I remember Jack LaLanne. He was 80-something. All his muscles, he had muscles, but they were doing this. Well, who wants a drooping muscle? He out there talking about, he's doing this, and I'm thinking, baby, you're done. You got to understand, we go by things how they look. That looks good. And so, for the moment, we're going to change. We're not going to stay the same. At time changes everything. Time will cause you to look different than you did when you first got married. And if he loved you, he's going with the change. But if he don't love you, he won't. One of the people in Hollywood said his wife had several kids. What's that man's name? Cool something? LL Cool. So, show you I don't know much about them people. And he said his wife, he said that he had all these children. She had these children, and people said, told him, "You look good to have that many kids." You think? He didn't have babies. He knew how to get them, but he didn't have them. So, and Charles said to me one time, "Bro, people tell me all the time I don't even look like I'm married with 7 kids." I said, "You didn't have any." I had them. Your body changes with time. Different things are going to happen in your life to change you from being the person you started out with. I had a flat stomach. I was liking 110 pounds. And you know what I mean? I was what they might call a little fine. But I can tell you now, fine changed. It changed. My husband loved me when I was pregnant. He loved me when I wasn't pregnant. If he stops liking you because your belly gets big and you get really big, hey, he didn't love you to begin with. See? But it's okay. It's okay to accept who we are as life goes on and we change. But do the person that we hook our life to, are they going to be acceptance of who you are? Are you still looking for me to look the same on the day I got married? You are kidding yourself. My husband was small. He wasn't a big guy, but strong in his own way. He never had a lot of muscle, but I wasn't a muscle person anyway, so that didn't matter. But when I think back on it, he started changing. And men over 50 usually get love handles. You could pick them up like this from the side. Yeah, they're not going to keep a neat waist no more than you are. So stop and look. And then another thing men have over 50 is a belly. No matter what you say, they have a belly. So if you liked his stomach because he had a six-pack or whatever, that's going to wither. That's going to change. And the six-pack become a ripple. It ain't no muscle. Let's deal with it, who we are. But it's okay. I look at P's picture in my house sometimes. You know, he was married to my daughter, who passed away some 25 years ago, but he was married to her. I look at P, and you walk in, it's like, look at the change. Look at your picture and see how you changed. This is a picture when I was 15. This is a picture when I was 25. This is a picture when I was 35. I don't show them no more after that. Yeah. Understand. So there is a way that looks harmless enough. But look again. It looks harmless. Now your parents and the people older than you, life have taught them experiences. Something you haven't had yet. You just started out in life. I had a lot of experiences in my life. And a lot of people here that's older, they have experiences they can share with you to help you, to benefit you. But you know what? We don't want to hear, well, they old-fashioned. That's what I used to say about my grandmother. She's back in the tooties. Hey, in the tooties, she knew how to, she learned some things, and she brought it to the table to us, but we didn't want to listen to it. As for God, his way is perfect. That's why his way is always best. The word of the Lord is tried. It's been tried and tested. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. So how can you get any better than perfect? So if God's way is perfect, why am I looking for things that are imperfect? That's not going to work. For the Lord is righteous in all his ways and holy in all his works. Who is wise? And he shall understand these things. For the way of the Lord is right, and the just shall walk in them, but the transgressors shall fall. So if you're breaking the law of God, you're just going to fall. You're not going to make it. Because his path he takes you on, you don't have all those potholes. You don't have all them places where it's leading you to a different way. You don't have all these exits off of it. It is what it is. And you get on it, you stay on it for a lifetime. Blessed rather are those who hear the word of God and obey it. We think we know the way that God is going to do something. How do we mess up on that? And say, I was expecting the Lord to do it like that. He's not going to do it. As sure as you think you got it figured out how he's going to do it, he don't do it that way. So that's why he said my ways are so high as the heavens is from the earth. So I'm not going to do it the way you think. I guarantee you, whatever you think that God's going to do, you find out real quick that's not the way he did it. Always go a different direction. God always does that. See? Let me share a few stories here in the Bible where it says, it's talking about the Lord said unto Abraham, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show you. He had not seen the land yet. But God said, first of all, leave your mom and your daddy. Leave them. Leave your kindred behind. Get up, go out. And even though you don't know where you're going, I'm directing you. So just get up and move. Some of y'all would say, I mean, where am I going? At least I got to know some direction where I'm going. No, you don't. If God told you to get up and walk, start walking. Because he knows what to do with you. He knows how he's going to fix it. Just get up and do it. Which I think it would look like to me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back. Go on and do it. Man is always sitting there trying to explain every cotton picking thing. I don't know if that's going to work. You know, when I look down there, there's no way down there. Go down there. For when you get there, God will have a way made for you to go through it. Yes. He said, I can't leave my mama. Something wrong with you. I don't want to be too far from my mama. That's a problem. Marry somebody who's hooked to mama, you got a problem. Because mama going to tell him when to go and when to come, and you going to be waiting for him, and he going to be over at mama's house. No. But he said, get up from, a lot of times what we do, we depend on family to support us and to be there for us. So if something comes up, family's there. They'll be, I can depend on my mom, my dad. No, he said, I want you up, away from everybody, so you can depend on me. So you can depend on me. And that's a good thing. We learn how to trust God that way. We learn how to trust him. So I am going to do what he said. Do you not think the family's saying, well, Abraham, where are you going? I don't know. Man, you got to know some kind of way where you're going. There's always people sitting there talking a bunch of crap all the time. Well, you just getting up and go out there and don't know where you're going? God told me to get up and get out, and he said to a place he's going to take me. I just need to get up and start walking, start moving, because I've already got it from God. This is what I need to do, okay? But we don't like to do that. We want some explanation. Is there a reason for this? Yeah, because sometimes the dependence we have upon people that are around us is not good. It's not good. Listen, sometimes the best thing ever happened to a man or a woman is when they decided to live away from home. Away from home. Because over a period of time, you start to grow. You grow. Some people cannot grow because they're stifled by the fact that I can't leave this place. Sometimes what God's got waiting on you is not there. It's over here. You got to understand that. Come now, therefore, Ezra said, and I will send thee unto Moses. Here's God talking to Moses. He said, come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Okay? But now he's saying, God, I can't talk. You want to send me to Pharaoh? I'll be a laughing stock. I'm going down in front of the king of Egypt. And you want me to go there? Yes, I do. I can't talk. I don't have good speech. In other words, he was a stammerer or a stutterer. So I can't talk. So you want me to go up in front of Pharaoh? And I said, Faye, Pharaoh. God told me to come back. You're never going to get it out before Pharaoh said, get this dummy out of here. Because there you are going through all these changes. So he said, I can't talk. God said, okay, I made your mouth, you wouldn't have to worry about it. But since you doubt it, what I'll do, I'll send Aaron with you. And Aaron will speak for you. But the first thing you do is start giving excuses why I can't do it. At the end of the day, don't worry about how you sound. You got to take care of business. When God called me to preach, I couldn't talk either. That's why I wondered, is something confusing going on here? I couldn't stammer. I stuttered horribly. And I went through school being laughed at the whole time in elementary school. And then all the way up to high school, I was being laughed at because I could not get the words out. I knew what to say. So if you're not a stutterer, you won't recognize it. But anybody that's a stutterer recognizes another one because we constantly find other words to replace something that we can get out because this can't come out. So I was listening to the Postmaster General. They were raking him over the coals in front of Congress, and he stammers. I saw it right away. And he said, oh, but he wasn't as bad as I was, because he couldn't have talked to Congress had he been that way. But God called you and say, I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to help you. All I need you to do is just do what I say. You look back on my life and you would never believe that I was a stutterer because I don't stutter today. But God called me, okay, Rose, I'm going to fix that. I'll take that away. And he did. Otherwise, you would have a hard time sitting here this morning. I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell you, but hold on a minute. I'll say this. You're going to think I'm tired. Because if you ever been around a stutterer and you study, you want to say the word for them. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Well, you can't say it for a preacher. The preacher got to say it for himself. So it's tiring. It was a man that came to Oklahoma, a Reverend Hollingsworth. And he said the Lord called him to preach, but my God, he stammered so bad, you'd be so tired at the end of the message, like, because you've been trying to help him the whole time. Yeah. Yeah, and he's beating his chest, and I thought, hurry up. I was so tired when that man finished preaching, I thought I tried to help him. I was trying my best to help him because I think I understand where you're at, but honey, if God called you to preach, you know people are going to get bored and tired if you keep on stuttering like that. It takes you, I don't know how long just to get a verse out. I felt for you. I thought you need to go back and ask the Lord to help you not to stutter, because by the time I left church, I was so tired. Because I was trying to help him. I felt so sorry for him because I know what that feels like. That is so weird how something can be inside and you have full knowledge of it, but you can't say it. That's horrible. So, God spoke to Elijah. He said, get thee hence and turn thee eastward. Hide yourself by the brook Cherith. There was a famine in the land that is before Jordan. And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed you there. You know what y'all would have said? Oh, he's off. There ain't no raven getting ready to feed you, man. You better get a grip. You gonna tell me some ravens gonna feed you? God said they would. They're under command more than you are. He tried to command you, but you don't want to listen. So he goes down there, and God told him to go there. I prepared some ravens. They're going to bring you your food in the morning, at night. Not an in-between meal snack. Then he said, arise, go to Zarephath, which belonged to Zidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain you. How in the world am I going to get something that I need from a widow woman that ain't got anything? But God said, go down there. She's going to be the one who's going to sustain you. We need to understand everything. We need God to explain it for detail. He's not going to do it. He wants us to trust him what he says. So go do that. This is the way I want you to do it. And you go there. He was there by the brook Cherith for a while, and then everything dried up. The Lord said, now go down to Zarephath. He went there, a widow woman. When he gets there, he now sees this widow woman that God told him about. But at this moment, she's gathering some sticks. And he says to her, go cook me a little bread and bring it to me. She said, I don't have anything. All I have is this little cup of meal, and I'm going back, and me and my son going to eat it, and we're going to die. That's the end of it. Now, somebody would be saying, God didn't tell you to come down here. The woman ain't got nothing. That just doesn't make sense to the natural man. Well, he told me to go down there with a woman, take him, and she tells me she's getting ready to die. She gonna cook a little cake of bread here, and she's gonna feed her and her son. There's nothing to bring you profit. He wasn't greedy like a lot of these preachers are. He didn't ask for a house. He asked for a little cake of bread. That's all I asked you for. And she said, I don't have that. You know what the first thing you would have did? Boy, I thought sure that was God. Now I'm down here. Where am I going? It's a famine in the land. I can't go down to King Soopers. I can't buy nothing. There ain't no food. What am I going to do? I got to get something. So here I am down in this little town, and a widow woman's supposed to feed me, and she got nothing. That shows you how big God is. I dare you to trust God. I dare you to trust Him. Well, long, he said, fix me a cake of bread first, and your meal barrel will never be empty from this day forward. She did what he said. When he cooked him a little cake of bread, brought it back to him, and her meal barrel, the entire time of the famine, she had food. She had food. God said, I'm going to prepare you. I'm going to send you to a place that doesn't look good. It looks like it ain't the right thing. It looks like this couldn't possibly work. I must have missed God in this transition right here. What can I do? Just stay put. It's coming. It's coming. Listen, another story. And the Lord said unto, wait a minute, I'm trying to see. Told Elijah, go now, and I want you to anoint Hazael to be king over Syria, and Jehu the son of Nimshi shalt thou anoint to be king over Israel, and Elisha the son of Shaphat of Abel-Maholah shalt thou anoint to be prophet in thy stead. Go down there, he's going to be the one to succeed you. Anoint him. If you get somebody that God has not called to lead a ministry, you got a disaster. God has to say the person that it's going to be. You can't have something on the back burner. Well, it could be any of us. Oh, that's dangerous. Because any of us could be the worst thing that you could get. So God's got to give some direction. Okay, how do we do this? Who I'm going to put in place? He lets you know that ahead of time, as he's done in this church. You already know who's coming up. You ain't got to wonder about it. So you go there and you anoint him. Now, somewhere along the way, well, he don't look like he would fit it. It's the person that don't look like it is the one that God uses. God uses plain, old, ordinary people. He ain't looking for no highly educated person who thinks they know everything. Because I've been to college, I got my PhD, and God said I can't use any of that. My plan is not based on your PhD. It's not based on your master's. It's not based on that. God's wisdom excels all of that. So what I'm going to give you is something you can learn from. Yes, yes. So in the meantime, I'm going to follow what God told me to do. And you can always have people saying to you, I don't think that's the way it should be. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about who thinks it's right and who don't. Just forget it. If you start listening to people, you will make more mistakes because he's telling you according to what happened with him. You know the story about Naaman. Naaman was a captain of the Syrian army, and he had leprosy. Watch this. A little maid that came out of Egypt, they brought there, and she became the mistress for Naaman's wife. This is a little girl. And the little girl says this. She said, the Syrians had gone out by companies and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife. And she said unto her mistress, would God my Lord were with the people that is in Samaria, for he would recover him of his leprosy. It's a little kid. And one went in and told his Lord, saying, thus and thus said the maid that is of the hand out of the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, Go to, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 pieces of gold, and then changes of raiment. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel. She didn't say take him to the king. The king was dead. He's got no power. Said there's a prophet down there that you take him to, and he'll heal him of his leprosy. Listen what he says. And the king got upset. Said, come unto thee, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman my servant to thee, that thou mayest recover him of his leprosy. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel had read the letter, that he rent his clothes and said, am I God to kill and to make alive? That this man has been sent to me to recover a man of his leprosy? Wherefore consider, I pray you, and see how he seeketh a quarrel against me. Somebody's trying to give me a hard time here. I can't heal this man. I'm a king, but I don't have power. I don't have power. And it was so, when Elisha, the man of God, had heard that the king of Israel rent his clothes, that he said to the king, saying, wherefore hast thou rent thy clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. Naaman was wroth. He got mad. You know what? You got some nerve to go to God needing a miracle, but you're going to tell him how to do it. Naaman goes down there. He's the one got the leprosy. And then the word's been sent to you by the prophet. Go on down to Jordan and dip. He didn't even come out to say nothing to him. You know why he's so arrogant? I'm a captain in the Israeli army. I mean, listen to me. I thought surely he would come down and say some great thing over me. God said, no, go get in that muddy Jordan down there and dip yourself and go down 7 times. You know, at least if I can dip once and get out of it, I can get over with it. But 7 times, just keep going down. Why? Because you're so arrogant. I thought he would come out and say this great thing over me. God said, I ain't saying nothing to you. Go dip. And he said, I'm not going. I'm here. I got to tell you this. He says, are not Abana and Pharpar rivers of Damascus better than all the waters of Israel, that I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. Go ahead. God said this is how it's going to happen. You don't like it, keep going. You still got your leprosy. And his servants came near and spake unto him and said, my father, if the prophet had bid thee do some great thing, wouldst thou not have done it? How much rather than when he says unto thee, wash and be clean? Why didn't you just do it, man? That's what he said. Then went he down, he's got to be mad about it now. Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God, and his flesh came again, like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. Just took 7 dips in some muddy water. You say, I wonder why would God clean leprosy up and put you in some mud? Because that's where you needed to go. So how I might receive from God or somebody else might receive from God, it all depends on how we present ourselves. So I'm not giving him a hard time. I'm going down here and dip. I want to be cleansed. That's the only way you could get clean. For God said, this is the way I'm going to do it. I ain't doing it no other way. And no, my prophet ain't coming out to say nothing to you. Just get on down there and dip. Didn't like that. How many times have you been told something you should do and said, I'm not doing that? This is a little girl that sent this message. You know what we say? I'm going to listen to a kid. Don't come and tell me if I go down there. What does she know about anything? Do she know the king? Talking about Elisha? Got an attitude because he was a kid. There are some things that God will do with children to get our attention. Listen to it. I'm going to send you somebody crazy, but this kid knew what she was talking about. But because she's a kid, just overlook it. Sometimes we do the same thing with people that's uneducated. Did you hear that? They went, did that, and the other the whole time they were talking. I thought, my God, they speak horrible. But what are they saying, though? What are they saying? Whoa, what's his name? Wigglesworth. He was English. And they say his English was horrible. And you know how they are. They speak perfect English. What we're doing here, they wouldn't even know what you was talking about. But he's speaking perfect. Everybody there will speak perfect English. Wigglesworth was uneducated, but boy, did he have power with God. If I had to exchange something, give me that. Just leave me dumb. Yeah. But that man had power with God, and when he said something, it happened. I mean, when he said, this is going to have to be prayed for a man one time who didn't have any feet, and he said to him, go down tomorrow and buy you some shoes. You know what you would have said? Did he say? How can I go buy shoes? Man, I ain't got no feet. Go get you some shoes. So he said, he thought, well, what have I got to lose? But I know he know I don't have feet. Why do I need shoes? Went to the store the next day, to the shoe shop, and the man said, may I help you, sir? He said, yeah, I'd like to have a pair of shoes. He said, what size you wear? He said, I ain't got no feet. I don't even know what size I wear. So the man's looking at him. He said, what size you wear? He said, give me an 8. The man looks down at his ankles and thinks, are you kidding me? He goes back in the back, gets the size 8 shoe, come out, and the man sat down. The man stooped in front of him, raised his ankle up, and put the shoe on it, and a foot grew into it. You said, oh, I don't believe that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't believe it. Since when did God move? Because you believed it. Walked out that store with a size 8 shoe on, happy, didn't have none. They didn't like Wigglesworth because Wigglesworth would do some strange things when people need healing. Somebody came up with something that was going on in their stomach, and he just balled his fist up and hit him. Boom! In the name of Jesus, get out of here. And people looked at him, did you see how he hit that man? But hey, his stomach is okay, though. Yes. You got to understand, God don't need your approval. And he's going to tell you something that don't look normal. Most of the time, the way of God does not look normal. It looks like, well, what's going on? And you go tell somebody, I feel like the Lord want me to do it. Honey, that ain't God. God is not stupid. He gave us 5 senses. Yeah, and the senses you got, you still dumb. So I'm telling you to do something. Just do it if you want to be healed. If you want to be delivered, just do that. He'll change the situation. So listen. Every time God speaks to you, you know it's him because it's contrary to what you think. It's contrary to what you believe. I'm going to do this. This is what I'm asking you to do. I'm going to take care of it. We don't like to do that. I remember in Oklahoma, my husband was in the military at the time, and we wasn't getting, his check was, we wasn't getting the check because we moved from Germany. We got advanced pay because the Army never give you enough money to move your family. They give you something, say this is for travel. It's never enough. And I remember not knowing how we were going to make it. You got 6 kids here, or 7, which I don't know which one I had then. And how are we going to make it? And my husband, he wasn't saved. He said to me, are you believing God, Rose? I said, yes. But are you believing him? No, I'm depending on your faith. He says, well, I leave the house and go somewhere. I was on my way back, and the Lord said, have Charles to go down to Western Union. There's some money for you. Who sent it? I don't know. I had some money at Western Union. When I first told my husband that, he said, Rose, who's sending us money? I said, I don't know. Just go down there. Some money in my name. And he's looking at me like, Rose, you forever come up with something crazy. Go on down there and to the Western Union. Sure enough, don't know to this day who sent me that money. But it was waiting for me at Western Union. Did God somehow send an angel or somebody so he could deliver it? But he said, I'll make a way for you. I'll open doors to you. I'll do the impossibility if you believed it. And he always has. Always has. So I said to you this morning, you may have to go to a certain place to see what God's going to do for you. It may not be right here. It may not be right over there. But he's coming to teach you something. He's going to show you something, and you got to listen to what he's saying. I did my whole saved life, and I've never went wrong, not one time. Because what he told me to do, I did it. Understand it or not, I did it. That's where you got to move. Same way. I don't understand it, just do it. That's why Mary told the people around there with the look about the wine at the wedding, and she said, whatever he tells you, just do it. Just do it. You don't know what's going to just do it. Just do what he said. It's going to work. It always works. See? But Naaman got healed God's way, not his way. See? And you will get healed if you don't want to do it your way. Let me tell you about somebody here, and this makes a lot of sense to me. Probably won't to you. You'll think, how did it make sense to me? You somewhere else. See, Peter was out fishing. He was fishing. He didn't catch no fish. Now, he was the fisherman. Just because something is your particular field of expertise doesn't necessarily mean God's going to use that. So Peter said, hey, let's go fishing. He goes fishing. He let down his net. He got nothing. He got not one thing. Well, a fisherman usually knows the time to go to catch fish. So why today did I not catch fish? So Jesus said to him, let your net down on the right side of the boat. That right side stayed with me. You're on the wrong side. You're on the wrong side. You got to get on the right side. When you get on the right side, things begin to work. So you over here trying to get it. And God said, go to the right, Peter. And this is what he said to the Lord. Master, we done been toiling all night long. What are you talking about? We've been out here all night trying to catch fish. I'm a fisherman. Listen. And we took nothing, nevertheless, because you said it. We'll go ahead and do it. Yeah, do it. God said do it. Jesus says go do this. And when they had this done, they enclosed a great multitude of fish, 153 fish, until the net broke. What was it that you over here fishing all night long? How many times in your life you've been toiling all night with something, for weeks and months and years with something, and God said this is all you got to do to get that fixed? Now, I don't think that's going to fix it. I don't really believe it's going to work out like that. Of course it is. Of course it is. So he says, no, go on the other side. That's the right side. What side are you on? The reason why you steady trying to get a blessing on the wrong side, you got to get right with God. You got to do what he wants you to do. Then it works. Then it works. See? So he said, and he had so many fish he couldn't even handle them. He had the back of some of the other fishermen come and help us. And the net never broke. It was full, running over, but it was on the right side. So what you fishing for, you're on the wrong side. What you looking for, you're on the wrong side. You got to come over here where God is. You can't serve the devil and expect to be blessed. You got to move over here where God is. I got to do this because that's what the Lord wants me to do. So he did it, but he said, first let me tell you, we've already done this thing you talking about. That's what people say all the time. I tried that. Try it this way. Well, I can't see just turning it over on the other side how it's going to work. I tried it already. It didn't work. Turn it over on the other side. We got to get accustomed to just doing it God's way, no matter what. Whatever he say, do. Because my way is not yours. He always does it strange. What happened when when the people lost a borrowed tool that they got from somebody, and they said, we lost the axe head. And what did he do? He threw something in the water. Some sticks. How do they swim? But the iron swam back. Can you see iron swimming back under the command? These people needed that thing. They said, oh, Lord, this thing was borrowed. We need this. Okay, here come the axe swimming back. You said, child, things like that don't happen. That's a bunch of fiction. That's because you don't know God. That's because you don't know God. But if you know him, no, it ain't fiction, baby. This is the real thing. It's the real things. Okay. Let me go over here for a minute. Yeah, the more I look at that, the more I realize it's God doing what he wants to do in man, and man can have the best if he really wants it. If you really want everything from God, you got to come his way to get it. You got to go where he is to get it. Sometimes we in some dead church somewhere, nothing's happening at all, and you just sitting there because, well, my grandpa was here. Well, this is the church that my grandma died in. Is it the same? Things change. So, well, my uncle's name is on one of the pews in the church. Really? That's a reason to stay put? That name on that pew can't help you. You got to go to God and get what you need. God told the prophet, he said, look, let me read it to you. He told this prophet, he said, when you go to this place, go in and don't eat nothing in that place. Don't drink anything. But what I want you to do is go there when you pass through and do what you need to do, then leave. But don't go back the way you came. You say, well, what's wrong with that? I took I-25 up here, south. Well, it's just plain common sense to do it I-25 north. God said, don't go back the way you came. And you still try to figure out, I don't understand it. Why do you have to understand everything about God? Just trust him. Do what he says. Listen to this. The first time they asked him to stay and eat and stuff, he said, I can't do that. The Lord told me don't eat nothing in this place or drink anything. He said, when you're done, don't go back the same way you came. Why not? I don't have to tell you that. Just don't do it. He said, the king said unto the man of God, come home with me and refresh thyself, and I will give thee a reward. And the man of God said unto the king, if thou wilt give me half thine house, I will not go in with thee, neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place. For so was it charged me by the word of the Lord, saying, eat no bread, drink no water, and don't turn again by the same way you came. So he went another way and returned not by the way that he came. How disobedient is that? He went back the way he came. God said, don't go back. And then we get on the wrong road and something happens to you as it happened to this prophet. He said, now there dwelt an old prophet in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all the works that the man of God had done that day in Bethel, and the words which he had spoken unto the king. And then they told also to their father. And let their father said unto them, what way went he? For his sons had seen what way the man of God went, which came from Judah. And he said unto his sons, saddle me the ass. So they saddled the ass, and he rode thereon. And he went after the man of God, found him sitting under an oak tree. He said unto him, art thou the man of God that camest from Judah? He said, I am. Then he said unto him, come home with me and eat bread. And he said, I may not return with thee, nor go in with thee. Neither will I eat bread nor drink water with thee in this place. For it was said to me by the word of the Lord, thou shalt not eat no bread or drink water. Just turn again to go, and turn not again the way that you came. He said unto him, I'm a prophet too. You better watch people that say they're prophets. The lady said to me the other day, are you a prophet? I said, I don't use that name. I'm just Pastor Rose. There's too many lying prophets. They all over the place lying about stuff. Yes. He said, I'm a prophet too. Come on back home with me because God done showed me something. You can come back with me. You can eat. So he went back with him. Don't ever make a U-turn. Make a U-turn if you want to. What's waiting on the other side is going to cost you. So he went back with him and did eat bread in his house and drank water. But look what happened to him. It says, but camest back and hast eaten bread and drink water in this place, of the which the Lord did say to me, eat no bread, drink no water, for the carcass shall come unto the sepulchre of thy fathers. And it came to pass after the prophet whom he had brought back, he sat there and prophesied to him, said, the Lord said he's going to get you for coming back. Ain't that horrible? The Lord told me to tell you to come with me. Now you sitting there eating the bread at my table. He said, the Lord said you shouldn't have done that. The lying prophet. So look what happens. And when the prophet, and behold, men passed by and saw his carcass. Why? Because a lion killed him in the way. What you're going to meet on that road that God told you don't return on is a lion waiting for you. Somebody you never dreamed of. You never thought, that never travels on this road? Well, how did it get over here? It's just like if we go to our house, we don't expect to see a mountain lion parked in the front yard. They don't come this way. But here I am. He goes back and pick up the carcass and bury it. Said, you should not have disobeyed God. That's horrible. Now, the same man that told you God told him to tell you to come back is the same man that's telling you you shouldn't have disobeyed. The way he's going to send you is a way that you think not. The way he tells you to function in that place is different from what you ever did. Well, no, I didn't testify because I looked around and, I just don't get up in front of people. Testify. And testify? Yeah, testify. Me? Yeah, you. Why me? Because you told to do it. So I'm going to follow whatever I'm told. I'm going to do it. And if you do that, you'll never regret it. Quit looking for it to happen the way you think. I thought sure God would have did this. I thought sure he would have done that. No. God told Moses, when you go down there to where the rock is, the people want some water. I want you to speak to the rock. He goes down there and said, I'm hitting the rock. These rebels done worked on my nerves. I understand how he felt. He said, you rebels. God said, I didn't tell you to do that. I told you to speak to the rock. Speak to it and tell it to bring out water. You beat the rock. You didn't sanctify me in the eyes of the people. Now look at this. Now Moses is in trouble. You got to watch people. They can make you say or do something that you shouldn't do as a leader because they can drive you crazy with a bunch of crazy stuff. But by the grace of God, you got to do what he said do it. Even when the people work your last nerve. Did I tell you to do that? So they in trouble. So how did you get in this? Well, I did such and such thing, but that's not what I told you. Did I tell you? I know what you said. But the way I looked at it, the way I see it, the way I see it, that didn't make sense. I did it the way I felt like it would work, but it never worked. There's a little boy that's telling his father's in the yard beating on a thing he's trying to get out the ground. He keeps hitting it with this hammer, but he can't get it to bulge. The little boy on the ground's watching his daddy do it. Said, Daddy, you know what? If you hit that from the other side, it'll pop right off. He said, boy, get on away from here. You don't know what you're talking about. Get on away from here. So when the boy left, he thought, well, what do I got to lose? I'll try. He hit it, thing popped right off. He didn't want to hear from that kid. I'm the daddy. I know more than you. In many cases they do, but go ahead and try it. I can say, well, son, I don't know how you know that, but I'll give it a try. Pride won't let you do that. No, I'm not have a kid telling you what to do, but he should have. How many things have you been beating on, trying to get it to change, trying to do this, trying to do that, and I just want this thing to change. I want it to be different. I want this to happen. I want that to happen. And all you got to do is do it on the other side. Let God give you direction. He'll stop you from wearing yourself out so bad. You'll be like Peter. You tired. You're just tired from toiling. Let it go. Say, I'm going to try God's way. The minute you try his way, it works. You become better as a result of it. Every time. So this morning, if there's somebody here that you don't know the Lord, you're not a Christian, but you say, I would like to be, you got to do it God's way. I'm not coming up to the front and repent. You're not going to get saved then. I got to acknowledge that I'm a sinner. I got to say, God, I know that I'm a sinner. I need you in my life. Come forward. Let me pray for you. You will never be the same after today. If you make that decision, you will never be the same. Make it today. You'll never regret it. It'll change your life. You'll see things different. You'll feel different. You'll go different paths. You'll choose different paths for yourself. Why? Because God's in your life now. You hear the voice saying, stand in this way. Don't look to the left nor to the right. Just keep going. That's what he wants you to do. So this morning, we got some people here. You said, well, Sister Rose, I'm not a Christian. I came to church this morning, but really I'm not a Christian. I haven't really followed God's path for my life. I know a lot of things went wrong. I know that. And it's all because I took the wrong advice. Be careful who advises you. Somebody may advise you that don't have a clue about where you're at and what you need to do. But if you follow him, you'll come out on top every time.
I'm glad that man, he didn't let teardrops fall. You know what? I know he'd find joy in every tear that I shed. Oh, see, and I'm glad that man didn't make heartaches. 'Cause I know he'd give me more. He'd give me more than I could bear. Oh, see, and I'm glad that man, he didn't create me. Oh, Lord, for one day. Man, he surely forsake me. Oh, and I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad that God, he made me. Well, see, he made us in